Today we are looking at a topic titled, Walking with the Clock of Your Life. Walking with the clock of your life. I'll take my text from the book of Matthew, chapter 26 from verse 24. Matthew chapter 26 from verse 24. I'll read from here. And it says, the Son of Man goeth, as it is written of him. Say, but woe unto that man, by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. It was Jesus Christ talking here. He said, the Son of Man goeth, as it is written concerning him. That means Jesus Christ understood something, that there is a divine script for his life, that there is a manual he needs to follow to fulfill what they call purpose here on earth. And he was talking to his disciples. He said, the Son of Man is referring to himself, that he goeth as it is written concerning him. He knew that he was a Messiah. He knew that he's going to be born in Bethlehem. He knew that his coming to the world was the coming of a Savior to redeem man from the fall that happened in the Garden of Eden. He knew all that by himself. But he knew that there are time for everything. That the clock has to move according to the way it's going to accomplish its purpose. No wonder, when he was at the wedding in Cana of Galilee, the mother said something to the disciples. He said, go and meet him. And he told the disciples, he said, woman, what am I to do with thee? He said, for my hour has not yet come. He understood that there is time for everything. He understood there was time he need to sit at the temple and begin to learn. And he understood that there was time he need to start healing the sick. And he understood that there was time he need to face the cross. He understood that there was time he also needs to go and die the death of a sinner. That was the clock of his life. Every man has a clock of his life. And two things can happen to a clock. A clock can be fast forward, and a clock can be delayed. And a clock can even stop working. The clock can be fast forward. The clock of a man's life can be delayed. The clock of a man's life can be fast forward. And the clock of a man's life can remain stagnant. The clock of a man's life can be in a spot and it will not work. Oh, no wonder Jesus asked the man that was sitting in the pool of Bethsaida. He said, for how long have you been here? So I've been here for over 30-something years. The man's clock was what? It was stopped. The man was in a particular place. When we are moving, his clock was put on a stagnant. He was waiting to enter inside the pool when the angel comes to stay. And Jesus looked at that man. He said, take up your bed and walk. Say, for your sin has been forgiven. It was from that day the clock of that man started to work again. The enemy kept his life in a stagnant place. The enemy kept his clock in one place. They said the place you are going to be is at the pool of Bethsaida. You will be closer to your miracle, but you will not receive the miracle. When the angel came to stir the water, people will enter and they are in. But the man has no help to enter. Why? The clock of his life has been kept in a particular position. The clock of his life has been stagnant. He could not go forward, he could not go backward. They kept him in a spot called the place that is closer to the miracle. But something happened one day. And Jesus knew that this man has been here for so long. He needed help, but he could not get that help. And Jesus appeared in the scene. He said, take up thy bed. It is time to move. It is time for your life to move. No wonder. The Bible says something. Say the devil cometh to steal and to kill and to destroy. Say, but I have come that you might have life. And you might have it in what they call abundance. It takes a man that has the life of Christ to move according to the clock of his life. It takes a man that has the life of Christ to understand that there's a purpose for me to pursue. It takes a man that has the life of Christ to know that if the Son of Man goeth, Jesus was not only referring to himself, he was referring to those that will come after him. That you need to go in according to what they call divine scripts. There's a divine script, there's a script of man. The day you begin to follow the script of man, the day you begin to lose what they call purpose. The day you begin to follow the script of man, is then you begin to live the script of another man. Every man has a clock, and the clock has a time it begins to manifest. The clock has a time it begins to ring. There was a time in the life of Jesus Christ, the clock of his life was to go and die the death of sinner. And he understood that it becomes so heavy. Then he understood that in a man's life, in the clock of your life, there is what they call trials. In the clock of your life, there is what they call temptation. In the clock of your life, there is what they call the time to enjoy the open door. It takes a man that understood to pass through the trial in the clock of his life so that he can see the later glory. No wonder the Bible says something about Jesus. He said what? He said what? He said, I have given him a name that is above every other name. He got that name because of a sacrifice he has paid. He got the name because of what? He went to die for the sin he did not commit. And at that part of the time, Jesus understood that it is not time for me to pray for myself anymore. It is time for men to begin to pray for me. At the time of your life in your clock, there are times when you will need men to pray for me. And it took Peter, James, and John. He said, my prayer cannot do this alone. It is a time of the clock of his life that was so tough. He said, can't you tarry for at least 1 hour? He needed men to pray for him. There's a time in your life you will need men to pray for you. It is called the time when the clock is down. It is called the time that you think that the clock is supposed to move, but the clock is not moving. The clock is not delayed. The clock is happening for a purpose. It is happening to set you in a place that is very high. No wonder when Jesus asked to pass through that clock, he made a statement on the cross. He said, it is finished. Why? He has accomplished what they call purpose. At the time you need men to pray for you, at that time you are done, your prayer cannot do it. Your prayer cannot go for anymore. Why? Because at the time in the clock of your life, then you have a divided mind. You begin to ask that, does God exist? You begin to doubt. No wonder Jesus has to say something on the cross. He said, my father, my father. He said, why hast thou forsaken me? He never meant that word. It is due to because he was a man. Every man is meant to speak that word at the clock of his life when things began so tough. No wonder Job began to say so many words. Job even caused the day he was giving birth to. It was at the clock of his life that he was expecting his wife to be a word, an encouragement unto him. And the wife looked at him and said, he said, do you have integrity anymore? He said, why don't you rather curse God and die? And Job had to speak. But thank God, the word that came out didn't come out as a word of a mere man. It came out from the spirit. It didn't come out from the body. It takes a man at the clock of his life to speak the word of the spirit, not to speak the word of the flesh. And Job said something. He said, do we only trust God in the times of good? He said, for I know my Redeemer liveth. He knows his Redeemer did not die yesterday before he started facing that problem. There's one thing about God at the clock of your life that is difficult. God stands to watch your decision, and the devil also stands to watch your decision. No wonder Jesus has to make that statement. He knows there will be a time that will come that will become so tough for him. He needs to pronounce it. He said, call those things that be as though they are. He said, the Son of Man goeth as it is written concerning him. He knows that there are times in his life that there will be an adjustment, and people want him to go according to the script of men. No wonder they say, let us bring him and make him our king, if he is the king of the Jews. They wanted him to play a script that is called the script of man. But no, my script is divine. It is not of man. It is not of man that should dictate what I should be, but it's of God that knoweth what he has created me for to be. Oh, a pastor will say something. He say, I don't want to live a life like a mundane man. I don't want to live a life that is just wasted. I want to live a life that will affect generation. It takes a man that walks according to the clock of his life to live a life that can affect generation. It does not come with decision. It comes with an inner motive. It does not just come with an inner motive. It does not just come because you are a Christian. You can be a Christian, you might not live the divine life. It comes because you understand what God has for you. It comes because you understand what they call the precept of life that can take you in a journey, and the journey becomes so hard, but at the end of the journey, there is what we call light. At the end of the tunnel is always dark, but at the end of the tunnel, there is what they call light. Let's move on before I round up. There are things you need to understand about the clock of your life. Number one is that your life has a divine script. Your life has a divine script. The book of Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says something. He said, for I know the thought I think towards you. He said, thought of peace and not of evil, to give you what they call an expected end. He said, and you will call upon me and I will answer you. You might be facing what they call trial in the clock of your life. There's a message. He said, for I know the thoughts. There's one thing about God. He does not give you what is bigger than you. He gives you a trial that is meant to refine you. Oh, if God should be a human being, God will complain when he was thrown inside fire. He will not know that he was coming out to become something better. You know that the raw state of a man cannot achieve that what God has prepared for you. There's one thing I begin to notice about life, is that every man gets a blessing according to the version you grow yourself to be. If you are a particular blessing, God has created something for you, but there's a time you're meant to receive that thing. If you don't grow yourself into that version, that thing will not come. You are still that person, but you need to be another version to achieve what God wants you to achieve. There's one thing about God. As you begin to go, the thing begins to come towards you. Why? Because you are growing to be a better person. Not because you are not closer to Christ, but because God wants you to be a better version to handle that thing. No wonder Peter will have received the gift long time ago, but God was looking for what they call the spiritual maturity. He said, upon this church, upon you I will build my church, and the gate of hell shall never prevail. He did not just look at him and call him a rock. He saw a rock in him, but that rock was not manifesting. It took him time for him to understand that yes, he was a rock. No wonder they don't want Peter to be missing on the day of Pentecost. And they'll begin to ask, where is the rock that he said he will build his church? And they will say it's missing on the day of Pentecost. Every man has the clock of his life. Peter was going. He never knew that he was attached to win 3,000 so no. He was still moving on his journey. All that he had in his idea was to become a fisher of fish. But there was a divine script that was different. It is called the fishers of men. Jesus has a divine script for him. But by men's thought and everything, his skill was confusing him. He thought that if I could fish, I will fish more. There's one thing about life. If God is not involved, the progress is not moving. No wonder he toiled the whole day. The Bible says he toiled day and night. And with his experience, he could not catch anything. And Jesus appeared in the scene and said, throw it to that same place that you have been toiling. And they say he caught a net-breaking basket. If Jesus is not involved in your script, the script might be good, but it might not succeed. If Jesus is not involved in your idea, the idea might be good, but it will not yield fruit. If Jesus is not involved in the clock of your life, at the days of adversity, your faith will become what? So small. Before we move on, let's look at some things about Jesus Christ. Number one, he knew he would be born in Bethlehem. He didn't come by mistake. He knew that he would be conceived by a virgin. He knew that he's going to be born in Bethlehem. He knew that he was a savior. There are things about yourself that you need to know. That it is not happening by mistake. You might be going through tough time. You know it is not by mistake. It is because you are a king. King does not get to the throne so easily. They must pass through what they call process. God does not give his mantle to a man who has not gotten through what they call process. You might be wondering that there are many people in the Bible. Why did God choose to pick Paul? Why did the searchlight go and went to Paul? Because God knows that Paul was an investment. Not that Paul was an investment alone. Paul has gotten through so many trainings. He has trained himself to be a vessel for God. And God said, no, rather than you being a vessel for the devil, I will make you a vessel for myself. The clock of his life was waiting for him on his way to Damascus. He never understood the journey was to turn his story upside down. And they say he was going to persecute the church. And he was going. And they say a light shone from above. Paul was not the only persecutor of the church then. But grace was finding according to the words, to the clock of his life. He knew that he will die. He knew that he will rise again. Christ knew that he's going to die. And he knew that he's going to rise again. The Bible says something in the Old Testament. He said there was no bone of his body that will be broken. And it came to pass that they broke the bone of the one in the right. They broke the bone of the one in the left. And when they come to his side, they did not break his bone because he knew who he was. Oh, the pastor said something. I was listening to him online. He's a very popular pastor then. And he said something. He said during his time, he was a miracle worker and he has an accident. And he was admitted in the hospital. And he told the doctor, he said, how long am I going to stay here? And the doctor said, you are going to stay here for 2 months. And he told the doctor, He said, I am leaving the hospital. They say your bones are broken. He said his bone was not broken. My bone cannot be broken. He said before the news will come and say the miracle worker is in the hospital, it is not written in the clock of his life. He knew what was written concerning him. That is where the devil came to cheat us the most. When you don't understand what is written concerning your life, it will bring something that is not concerning you and say, yes, it is among your life journey. And he said something. He said he took up his clothes and he walked away from the hospital. And the doctor began to ask, how were you able to walk? Why? Because he understood that his bones were not broken. His own bone cannot be broken. And he said when he made that statement that his bones were not broken, it was as if something was happening inside his body. Why? Because he understood the clock of his life. He understood that in this journey of my life, I am not meant to be in the hospital. In this journey of my life, I am not meant to go through this channel. In this journey of my life, I am not meant for my bone to be what? To be broken. Number 2, walk according to what is written concerning you. Walk according to what is written concerning you. No wonder Jesus said, the Son of Man goeth as it is written of him. He didn't say the Son of Man goeth as it is written concerning the prophet of old. He understood that something was written concerning him. He understood that he came to this world, he's a God. He understood that there are things he must do. The Son of Man goeth as it is written concerning him. Oh, when the Bible says something, it said the Bible could not record all the miracles that Jesus did. And I bumped into a book online I was reading. It was written in Greek also, and I took the book to begin to translate it about Jesus. And they said Jesus did a miracle that was not in the Bible. That they were carrying a man, and a serpent beat up the man, and Jesus was there. And Jesus did not command the poison to leave the man. He said it called for the serpent. He said, go and suck out the poison out of the man and go back. And the serpent began to obey. No wonder I say. He said, strangers shall hear my voice and they shall obey me. He said, they shall come out from their what they call their hiding places. It is time for light to speak when you walk according to the clock of your life. Strangers need to hear the voice and begin to obey. No wonder respect begins to come when you walk according to the clock of your life. I do say something, it might take time to achieve it, but the process might be slow, but the result is everlasting. Joseph walked according to the clock of his life. He was in the prison. He thought that was there. No. One thing about God, he has plan for everybody. Joseph was in Potiphar's house. He will think that was the dream he has. That my master has placed me in charge of everything. No, that was not the dream. From there, he went into the prison. He might think that the dream is dead, but God has something in store for him. He went from the prison to the what? To the palace. Why? Because he was walking according to the clock of his life. I learned something about Joseph's story. That if Joseph has compromised, that the clock of his life will have been altered. If Joseph had slept with Potiphar's wife, he might have enjoyed for a little while, but the sorrow will last forever. If Joseph had slept with Potiphar's wife, he will still have gone to that prison, but he will never come out from that prison. He will from the prison and he will die. And from death, he will go straight to hellfire. But there's something about God. When you walk according to your divine clock, what God does is that he began to reward man. No wonder I said in the book of Isaiah, he said, I have not called your father Abraham to use them and dumb them. But when I use men, I do what? I bless them. God is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. He takes a diligent man to walk according to the clock of his life. Because I must tell you for sure, in the world we have today, it is not easy to walk according to the clock of your life. There are things that will make you compromise. There are things that will make you say no. No wonder the Bible says in the book of Proverbs chapter 1 verse 10, he said, my son, he said, if sinners entice you, he said, consent thou not. In the clock of your life, sinners will entice you. If you are walking according to the clock of your life, things will come for you to drift away from Christ. If you are walking according to the clock of your life, there will come a time where you will see something that will look so precious. One of my father in the Lord told me something. We are discussing with a particular pastor. He said something. He said he got a visa to go to Canada. And the visa was given for him for 10 years visa. And remember, God told him a long time ago, he said, you have nothing to do with those lands. He said, your journey with me is in Africa here. He said, people will hear you from there. He said, but you are not meant to go and reside there. He said, and the man told him, the man said, I have opened a church for you. I want you to go and stay there for me. Just because of the kind of grace he carried. And he told the man, he said, this offer will have been better if I have not known what is written concerning me. He said, because I understood already that I am not meant to be in that place. The devil wanted to alter the clock of his life, but the devil did not come as a devil. He comes as a servant of God. The devil can use anybody. No wonder Jesus told Peter, he said, get thee behind me, Satan. At that point, it was not Peter that was talking again. The devil has entered into Peter to alter the clock of the life of Jesus. What did Peter say? Jesus was telling him that this is what I will do. I will go and suffer for you. I will suffer for the world and I'll be crucified. And Peter owed Jesus and begin to rebuke him. That no, you will not go through this. And Jesus looked at him. He said, get thee behind me, Satan. And Peter will be wondering, is he not this man that loved me so much? Why is he telling me to get behind me? Jesus understood that this is the divine script of my life. If it is altered, the will of God will not be done. No wonder I said something when he prayed. He said, Father, he said, let this cup just pass over me. And he said, nevertheless, let it be your will, not my words, not my will. Before we round up, let's look at factors that can alter the clock of your life. Number one is fear. Fear is a factor that can alter the clock of your life. When you make fear a partner, when I was leading in children's class in a particular church, they gave us an acronym for fear. They say fear is false evil that is appearing real. The devil will always make fear to appear real to you. The devil will always make fear to look very real to you. He will make fear to come in a way that you begin to see that it is not possible to follow God anymore. It is not possible to go according to what God has told me, that this is the plan of God for me. The devil will make fear to come. No wonder. Elijah, a man of fire, could sit on a juniper tree and say, he said, Father, I am no longer better than my fathers. He said, take me away. Why? The fear of Jezebel gripped him, and he began to run, and he was asking God for only one thing. He said, God, take my life away. He said, I am not better than my fathers. And what did God do? When he sat down and he was in a district, an angel appeared to him and said, take and eat. He said, for the journey is what? For the journey is far. Take and eat, for the journey is far. At the point where you are down, all you need is an angel to come and threaten you. No wonder the angel appeared to Jesus and said, an angel appeared and what? And threatened him so that he can come and face the cross. The same thing happened to Elijah. Elijah was down, a man that people was afraid of. And they said that a prophet that was a major prophet, a man that could call down fire. And he get to a point in his life, after he has slaughtered the Baal prophet, and Ahab went to Elijah and told, and Ahab went to Jezebel and told Jezebel all that has happened. And Jezebel wrote a letter to Elijah, and the letter took his bag and he began to run. And he said, my father, I am not better than those that have come before me. He said, let God take his time. A man of God was asking for death when he was not sick. A man of God was asking for death when he knew that he still have mission to fulfill. Why? Because at that time the clock of his life was down. He knew that there was no longer hope anywhere. Many prophets are already hiding, and he said it's no longer better than them. That this time it is better that he died than die in the house of Jezebel. He has forgotten the God that called down fire. At the time your clock of your life is down, you forget the miracle that God has done for you before. You forget the signs and wonders that God has done for you before. Why? The devil will make fear to come at that point. The devil will make you to make fear to look very real to you. That at this point, the only option you have is to give up on God. That the only option you have is to say, Father, I am no longer serving you. It is better for me to go the other way than to keep following you. That is what the devil will do at the point. No wonder Peter that has followed Jesus for long, when fear came and they told him, they said you were among them, he denied Jesus. He began to deny Jesus. I don't blame him that much. Why? Because the devil is so wise. I do tell you one thing. I say, if not for the grace of God, none of us can stand with the devil. If not for the grace of God that abides, no man will stand with the devil, you will fall. A man that can confuse 1/3 of the angel to follow him to come down. Angels that were not created with what? With sand. Angels that are not flesh. Angels that are created with brimstone. Angels that are spirit-like in nature. A man can confuse them and take 1/3 of God's angels to come down with him. How much more we mortals? How much more we that are just flesh? If not grace of God that abide, the devil will alter the clock of every man's life. If not the grace of God, the devil will alter the clock. No wonder. It takes grace for you to live the life that God has created you to live. It does not take your power. He said, but it's Jesus. He said something. He said, let no man think he standeth, lest he what? He fall. Don't think you are standing that yes, you can face the devil. You will fall. It takes the grace of God. No matter the anointing you carry, you are not as anointed as the devil. Even when Angel Michael came to meet him, what did Angel Michael do? Angel Michael could not challenge him because he know he was far greater than him there. He said, I leave the Lord to what? To rebuke you. He was hand over him to what? To God. He could not fight him. He said, I leave the Lord to rebuke you. When he came to challenge him over the body of Moses, in the flock of your life, you need to lean on God to rebuke the devil. You don't need to fight with your physical strength. You don't begin to say, I am an anointed man. I understand the Bible back and forth. The devil knows the Bible more than you. You understand the Bible more than if you can appear to Jesus Christ at the point when Jesus has finished fasting. He knew by that time Jesus carried enough power, and he could appear and begin to try to make him to live up to alter the clock of his life, not to talk of about mere mortal. He knew that mission is about to be gone, that the clock is about to start ticking, and he knew that this is the time to alter it. He wanted to alter it at the point where the clock wanted to start ticking, and he appeared to Jesus. He didn't ask Jesus to do anything bad. He said, this is stone. You have power. You just finished fasting. There should be enough power. Turn this stone to become bread. It is not a sin to turn stone to become bread. Jesus asked, after all, if he fed people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. So if he turned a stone to bread, it's not a sin. But Jesus understands that it is not the will of the Father for that stone to become bread. He understands that the moment he turned that stone to bread, he has gone against the will of the Father. He understands the script more than the devil. And he looked at the devil. He said, man shall not live by what they call bread alone. And the devil looked at him and said, I know what you are enjoying there. You are enjoying what they call glory. I will do a photocopy of that glory for you. He took him to the high place. He said, look at everywhere. He said, I will give you this glory of this earth. He wanted to exchange an heavenly glory for an earthly glory, just to alter the clock of his life. He said, but you will do one thing. He said, if you will bow down to me. He knew the moment he bowed down to me, there will be a separation between him and his Father. What the devil does in the clock of your life, so that you will not follow it, is to cause a separation between you and God. Once there's a separation, there's nothing God can do to help you. And Jesus looked at him and said, he said, it is written. He said, thou shalt not bow down to any word other God. Then I begin to understand the book of John chapter 1 verse 1 very well. He said, in the beginning was God to alter the clock of their life. They were not meant to suffer. They were not meant to till the ground. They were not meant to struggle before they eat. But what did the devil do? He made them to chase them away from the Garden of Eden. They were meant to stay there and everything would be provided for them. They were meant to live a life that was called a life of enjoyment. They were meant to live a peaceful life. They were not meant to work. She was not meant to born children in pain. But what did the devil do? He altered all the plan of God for them. And they were driven out of what? Of their place of rest. And the Bible said there was a sword, a cherubim that was put there. And they could not enter the garden anymore. That is what the devil is saying. There's a palace that God has prepared for you. You take a man that live according to the will of God to get to that palace. But when the devil alters it, God will drive you away from that palace. And that man might never enter that palace again. Number 2 thing that can discourage us from living the clock of our life is what is called disappointment. Disappointment. Disappointment can alter the clock of your life. When you have high hopes on God, that's saying that it is time for God to bless me. Not even his time. When the word that even come out from a prophet to you and said by this time next week that this is going to happen, that time comes, it is not happening. I begin to wonder, is it God that speaks or is it man that speaks? It is God that speaks, but the devil will fight against everyone. It takes a man that understands God, that when God speaks, you need to back it all up with prayer. He said, collect those things that be as though they are. At the time of your life, even though it has not come, still continue calling them. A man of God gave a testimony when I was in a particular place for a conference. And he said something. He said the pastor told him that in the next 6 months, before the next 6 months, you are going to have a land. And the place he's having in church, they have evacuated them from there. And he began to pray. He said, the man has said it. And let me see if it will come to pass. He said the first month, nothing happened. He said he began to say it, him and his wife, that we call those things that be as though they are. They began to call for the land to come. And the second month, he said it did not happen. The third month, it did not happen. He said the fourth, the fifth, it did not happen. And the man of God said before the 6 months. And he said they begin to call it. He said on the 6th month, it did not happen. But on the last day of the 6th month, he said they never give up. They were still saying it. That they will call those things as though they are. Why? Because he understood something. That the man of God has said it, that this is written in the clock of my life. And he said on the 6th month at exactly 6 p.m., he said somebody called him. He said in a particular location, I am giving you 6 plots of land. He said it is meant for you. He said the moment he got there, he looked at the 6 plots. He said to himself, he said this 6 plots is too much. That we sell half and use the remaining half to build. He said, and he went home to sleep. He said before the next day, before he was looking for back to buy the remaining half, somebody found him again and said, go and start building the church. He called those things that be as though they are. He did not get disappointed. He was still calling it. One thing the devil does is that when you stop talking, the devil will begin to take the clock of your life backwards. And there's one thing I begin to understand. I do say it every time. I say the Bible describes us as a sheep. We do not fight with arms, we fight with our voice. When a sheep when they want to slaughter a sheep, it begins to shout for a shepherd. It does not fight the person. It shouts for a shepherd to come. At the point where you are disappointed, you need to use your voice. You need to shout for your shepherd to come. And your shepherd is Jesus Christ. No wonder I say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And when you begin to ask yourself that the shepherd is wanting, the sheep are refused to call, and the shepherd is looking at the sheep. He's waiting to hear the voice of the sheep, but the sheep is being silent, and disappointment begins to come, and all the sheep does is to be worried. God does not move by worry. He's moved by what he hears. What is the sheep saying at the clock of his life? Is the sheep calling for help? As the devil makes you feel so disappointed that say, no, God cannot do it again. Let me just leave it that the way it is. I was watching a skit online recently. A man was praying for car, and he was praying and he got tired, and he went to an herbalist place. And they said the angel was coming with the car. And when the angel got to the place he was praying, he was no longer there. He has gone to an herbalist place to seek for help. That is what they call disappointment. He was praying and he was waiting, and he thought God cannot answer. God wants the sheep to work to consistent what ask for him. No one, the Bible says, pray without what season. Pray in season and pray out of season. You must pray in the clock of your life until something was happen. You must pray until it become a reality. I read a book about a man of God that he wrote, and he said something. He said everything about your life is in the realm of the spirit. It takes prayer for you to manifest it here. He said everything about you. If they say at age 40 you have a car, he said it has been written there. He said, but it takes you to draw it from that place to come here to become a reality. He said, and the only thing you can use to attract it is called prayer. He said, prayer magnetizes those things down to the physical world. He said, but if you don't pray, at the point of your life, you will become frustrated. That's why you see a man, they will say, I was watching a man at the age of 90-something, and they say they bought a car for him. That car might have supposed to have existed at the age of 30, but because he did not pray, and the devil understood something, that he will soon die. I don't have anything to do with it anymore. Let him come and take his property. So that they will say at least he rode a car, and it was written according to the clock of his life. Before we round up, the next you need to know about the clock of our life, that do not exchange your divine script with another person. Do not exchange your divine script with another person. You are not men. No one in the Bible says, comparing ourselves one to another, that we are not wise. He said, let nothing be done through what? Through strife or what they call vainglory. He said, but with lowliness of heart, let us esteem each other better than ourselves. Do not exchange your script with another person. Don't be envious of another person. That the person is my age mate is making it now. Just go to your secret place and begin to pray. And begin to tell God about your own self. Let God begin to download it to you. And you find out that you might have a better start than that person. Only that it takes time for each person to manifest. The time it takes you to manifest might not be the time it takes me to manifest. Many people might have been rich, but Joseph was in prison. But when Joseph got to the palace, he was superior than them. The Potiphar himself, Joseph became later superior than him. Everybody has his what? His time of what? Of manifestation. Do not exchange your script to another person. Everybody have their strength, they have their weakness. I have my weakness as a man, and I have my strength as a man. Do not exchange your script to another person. Walk according to what they call God's plan for your life. Before we round up, let's look at this verse. John chapter 19, verse 30. And let's look at 2 Timothy 4, verse 7 first. 2 Timothy 4, verse 7. 2 Timothy. The book of 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. It's a popular verse. 2 Timothy 4, verse. I'll read from here. He says, 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. He said, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day. And not to me only, but unto all them also that love is appearing. It was Apostle Paul talking here. He said, I have fought a good fight of faith. He was living the script of his life. It did not look like Jesus Christ that said, Peter, upon you I build the rock. No, he didn't look at that. He knew that he has his own apostleship to follow. And the Bible makes us to understand, even the man that Jesus said, that upon you I have built this church, the gate of hell will never prevail against you. Apostle Paul became the greatest apostle of them. Assuming he merely got born again, he wanted to live the life of Peter. He wanted to live the script of Peter. He will not become the greatest apostle. He did not exchange his own script. He knew that he came last, but he has a mandate to follow. He was living his own script, and the Bible says he came last, and he became the greatest of them. He was the greatest apostle ever lived. He wrote most of the words of the New Testament we are reading today. Why? Because he did not exchange his script with another person. He did not look that, Jesus Christ have spoken to Peter. That I was not with Jesus. Peter was with Jesus. That Peter would have been. He was not even in the upper room. He was not among those that was in the upper room on the day of Pentecost. He was missing on that day. He was still even persecuting the church there. But when he came, he became the greatest. Why? It is not all about being there. It's about understanding who you are. He understood who he was. So he began to live the life that God has sent him. He knew that he did not come for the Jews, that he came for the Gentiles. Peter was for the Jews. He did not switch the mandate. That let me follow Peter to go after the Jews. No, he was going after what God sent him. And what? His inner man began to grow. The God in him began to speak. And he became the greatest. Though he was what? He was the last. Why? Because he never exchanged the script with another person. He never exchanged the script with the Apostle Peter. Neither did he look at John and say, these were the ones that were with Jesus. I understood that Jesus used to take this one day. He was not even in the Mount of Transfiguration when the angels appeared and Elijah was there and Moses. He was not there. He did not undergo those encounters, but he was living a life that he was meant to live. It's not all about undergoing encounter. Do not look at a man that said, this man has been with a popular man of God. He was the next to him. He was always following him everywhere. The man used to take him through all his journey, and you want to live the life he's living. There's a divine script that you carry that is even greater than the man he is following. If only you will follow that script. If only you follow that script, you have started the clock of your life. Just continue following that speed. There's something in you that will make you the greatest, though you were not ahead on time. The next one for a round up. Finish what is written concerning you. Finish what is written concerning you. Jesus Christ finished it on the cross. He said it is finished. He didn't make that statement that finished because he was dying. He made that statement because the work of the devil has been conquered. He said it is what? It is finished on the cross of Calvary. Apostle Paul said something that we just read. He said, I have fought a good fight of faith. He has fought what they call the fight of faith. Why? Because he has won enough soul for Christ. He has what? He has drawn people to the kingdom of God. They say, finish what is written concerning you. A man that does not finish his work has not completed it. Nobody will love to stay in a building that is not finished. Even though you want to rent a house and they told you that you should pay in advance, you will tell the landlord that finish the building before I can pass in. You need to finish what is written concerning you. When a man has finished his work, that is when you can now say, I have fought a good fight of faith. That's when you can now know that I have lived a life that is according to the word, to the clock of my life. I have lived what they call a divine life. I have lived what they call divine or divine spirit. This is what is written concerning me. Oh, a man of God that was into him, he said something. He said, I don't want to be the best preacher. He said, but I want to raise the best preacher, because he knows that is what is written concerning him. He was not striving for himself alone. He was striving for others to be better than him. That was what was written concerning him. He said, I don't want to be the best preacher. He said, I want to raise the world, the best preacher, so that when he is gone, they can say of a truth, this is a seed. That seed came out from somewhere. The seed came out from a particular person. They will know that this one is not ordinary. It must have a root. Who is the root? And they begin to mention that name. He has known that he has fought what they call a good fight of faith. And there's one thing about when you finish what is concerning you. The moment you have finished what is concerning you, the heaven is happy about you. Oh, no wonder. No, Moses was lottering all about. Moses was lottering all about. There was something that was concerning him that he was not doing. And God asked to appear by force. God looked at it and said, if I appear to Moses as a being, it will not interest him. If I appear to Moses as an angel, it will not interest him. I need to appear to him in something strange. And God came as a burning bush. The bush that burned and never consumed. And Moses began to wonder, can a bush burn and did not consume? Why? Because the clock was ticking fast. The people need to be delivered. And Moses was busy taking care of sheep in Ethiopia. And the Israelites were in bondage. A clock was being delayed. A clock was delayed for extra 30 years. And I tell myself something. There were people that were great that would have died in that 30 years. There were people that carried mandate that would have died in that 30 years. Why? Because one man delayed his clock. The man, he ran away from his responsibility. He was born to be what they call a deliverer. He ran away, and people's destiny were tied to it. And the clock was delayed. It took extra 30 years, and it took God to appear. Now, saying the clock of your life, you need to pray. The Bible makes us understand. He said the children of Israel cried, and their prayer went unto God. And God said, no, it is time to appear to Moses. If they did not cry, God will not be moved to appear to Moses. They will stay there for a long time. And there's one thing about, I know about a man that walk according to the floor. God will not allow you to make mistakes. Many people have said, I have my own ideology about it. Many people say something. They said Moses did not enter into the promised land. I read the Bible recently and I got a different interpretation. I said Moses did not enter because God knew if Moses entered into that promised land, that would have been his promised land, and he will miss a greater promised land. Because the children of Israel will make Moses to sin. They have always made Moses to sin. And God knew that it is time for separation. Let them go. Let my servant come to meet me. Why? He has finished his course at that particular point in time. There is no need for this promised land because there is a greater promised land in heaven. He has finished his course at that time. And God look at him and say, for these children to make you to sin, you better miss this promised land and come and meet me over there. A man that complete the clock of his life, God is not a wicked God. He will not allow you to make mistakes. Even when the devil came and said that Moses committed a sin, that he wants to collect Moses, God did not allow him to collect Moses. And Angel Michael have to come. And Angel Michael knew the battle was not the battle of angel, it was the battle of God. And Angel Michael looked at the devil, Lucifer, and he said, the Lord rebuke you. Let's bow down to say, Father, help me. In this journey of life, one thing I want to do is to live the life of